My father's funeral was on a Tuesday. 200 people attended. Friends, colleagues, distant relatives. I stood at the front accepting condolences. Your father was a good man. He loved you so much. You look just like him. That last one was a lie, but I didn't know it yet. The burial was private, just close family. Me, my mother, my uncle, a few cousins, and 3 people I'd never seen before. They stood apart from our group, watching from a distance. I assumed they were my father's work colleagues, maybe distant friends. They didn't approach, didn't offer condolences, just watched. After the burial, my mother mentioned the will reading. "Tomorrow," she said. "His lawyer wants to see us." "Why so soon?" He said it's important, something about beneficiaries. I didn't think much of it. My father had been sick for 2 years, cancer. We'd had time to prepare. The will wouldn't surprise me. I was his only child. Everything would go to my mother and me. Simple. The next day, I arrived at the lawyer's office. My mother was already there, and so were those 3 strangers from the funeral. 2 men, 1 woman, ages ranging from 45 to 52. They looked uncomfortable. I looked at my mother. Who were they? She wouldn't meet my eyes. The lawyer cleared his throat. "Please, everyone, sit. We have things to discuss." I sat across from the 3 strangers. The lawyer opened a folder. "First, let me introduce everyone. This is Michael, age 52, Sarah, age 48, and David, age 45. He paused. "They are your father's children from his first marriage." First marriage? My father had never been married before my mother. He told me that. I looked at my mother again. She was staring at her hands. Weakly, I said, "I don't understand." The lawyer continued, "Your father was married for 18 years before he met your mother. He had 3 children. The marriage ended in divorce 39 years ago." I tried to process this. My father had other children. I had siblings, half-siblings, and no one had told me. "Why didn't I know?" I asked. Michael, the oldest, spoke. "Because he chose not to tell you." His voice wasn't angry, just matter of fact. "We knew about you," Sarah added. "We've known about you since you were born."
My head was spinning. "You've known about me for 38 years? She nodded. "Our father showed us photos, told us stories, but he said you didn't know about us. He wanted to keep it that way." "Why?" Silence. No one answered. The lawyer continued reading the will. "To my 4 children, I leave my estate divided equally among them." 4 children? Equal division? I'd assumed everything would be mine. Now I was learning I had 3 siblings, and we were splitting everything. That wasn't the worst part. The lawyer paused. "There's something else you need to know." He looked at me. "Your father requested I provide you with certain documents after his death." He slid a manila envelope across the table. "These are adoption papers." My hands went cold. "What?" "You were adopted when you were 6 months old." The room went silent. I couldn't breathe. Adopted. I wasn't his biological child. I looked at my mother. She was crying. "Mom?" She wouldn't look at me. I couldn't stay in that office. I grabbed the envelope and left. Walked for hours. Read the documents. Adoption finalized 38 years ago. Biological parents unknown. Closed adoption. My entire identity was a lie. I wasn't who I thought I was. My father, the man I just buried, wasn't my biological father. My mother, sitting in that lawyer's office crying, wasn't my biological mother. And 3 strangers knew the truth about me before I did. I went to my mother's house that night. She was waiting. "I'm sorry," she said immediately. "Sorry? For what? For lying to me my entire life? We thought it was best. Best for who?" She sat down, started explaining. She and my father, my adoptive father, had tried to have children for years. Infertility issues, multiple failed pregnancies. Eventually, they chose adoption. They adopted me when I was 6 months old. "We were going to tell you," she said, "when you were older. I'm 38. We kept waiting for the right time. Then it never felt right. Then it became easier to just not say anything." "Did his other children know from the beginning?" She nodded. "Your father told them. He thought they should know they had a new sibling, even if you didn't know about them." "So everyone knew except me?" "Yes." I asked about my biological parents. She said the adoption was closed, no information available. She claimed she didn't know anything. I didn't believe her. Over the next week, I met with my half-siblings individually. Michael was a doctor, married, 3 kids. Sarah was a teacher, divorced, 2 kids. David was an engineer, single. They were nice, sympathetic, but they'd known about me my whole life and never reached out.
Dad forbade it, Michael explained. He said it would complicate things, that you had your own life. We shouldn't interfere. You could have contacted me anyway. We thought about it, but we respected his wishes. They showed me photos. Photos of me as a child that my father had given them. My first birthday, first day of school, high school graduation. They'd watched me grow up from a distance while I had no idea they existed. Sarah told me something that hurt more than anything. "We used to joke that you were the lucky one. You got Dad all to yourself. We had to share him with each other, and then he left us for his new family." "He left you?" "The divorce was messy. He remarried your mom, had you, adopted you, started fresh. We saw him on holidays. Sometimes it wasn't the same." I'd grown up believing I was an only child, believing my father's entire world revolved around me. But he'd had 3 other children he'd abandoned, and they'd resented me for it. My whole life was built on secrets.
I took a DNA test, Ancestry DNA. I needed to know more. Who were my biological parents? Did I have biological siblings? The results came back 6 weeks later. No close relatives, no parents, no siblings, but dozens of distant cousins. I started reaching out, asking questions. Most didn't respond. One did. A woman named Patricia, second cousin on my biological mother's side. We talked on the phone. She was cautious. "This is complicated," she said. "I just want to know who I am." She sighed. "Your biological mother was my cousin, Rachel. She died 8 years ago. Cancer." That hurt more than I expected. I'd missed the chance to meet her. "What about my biological father?" Rachel never told anyone who he was. She got pregnant at 17, refused to say who the father was. Her parents were furious. They sent her away. She gave you up for adoption and never spoke about it again. Never? Once, when she was dying. She told me she'd had a baby, a son. gave him up, regretted it every day of her life. But by then, it was a closed adoption. She couldn't find you. I asked if Rachel had other children. No, you were her only child. So my biological mother had spent her entire life regretting giving me up and died without ever seeing me again, while I grew up not knowing she existed. Patricia sent me photos. Rachel as a teenager, Rachel as an adult,
Rachel in her final years. I looked like her. Same eyes, same smile. The resemblance my father, my adoptive father, never had. Patricia also told me about Rachel's family. My biological grandmother had died 10 years ago. My biological grandfather was still alive, in his 80s, living in a nursing home. Does he know about me? She knew Rachel had a baby, but he never forgave her, never talked about it. I decided to visit him. Patricia arranged it. The nursing home was an hour away. I sat across from an old man who was technically my grandfather. He looked at me with cloudy eyes. "You look like her." "Like Rachel?" "Yes." We talked for 30 minutes. He was bitter. Said Rachel had ruined her life by getting pregnant. Said he tried to make her tell them who the father was. She never did. "I should have been kinder," he said finally. "She was just a kid. I was too hard on her." I asked if he wanted to know me. He shook his head. "Too late now. I'm 92. I'll be dead soon. No point starting something new." I left feeling empty. My biological family didn't want me. My adoptive family had lied to me, and the siblings who knew the truth had kept their distance. I was 38 years old and had no idea who I really was.
It's been 18 months since my father's funeral. I've slowly built a relationship with Michael, Sarah, and David. It's awkward, but we're trying. They're not the enemy. They were kids when my father remarried. They didn't choose this situation any more than I did. Michael invited me to Thanksgiving last year. His kids, my nieces and nephews, were excited to meet their new uncle. It felt surreal, but good. Sarah and I text occasionally. She's the most open about our father's flaws. "He was selfish," she told me once. "He compartmentalized his life. We were his past. You were his fresh start. He never integrated them." Why not? Because that would require acknowledging his failures, his failed first marriage, his distant relationship with us. Easier to keep everything separate. David is still guarded, but he showed up to my birthday this year, brought a gift. We're getting there. My relationship with my mother is worse. I see her occasionally, but the trust is broken. She lied to me for 38 years. Every birthday, every milestone, every conversation, all built on a secret she chose to keep. "I did what I thought was best," she keeps saying. "Best for who?" I keep asking. She never has a good answer. I've learned some things. My extended family, my adoptive aunts, uncles, cousins, they all knew. Everyone knew except me. Family gatherings where people carefully avoided certain topics. Comments about me not looking like the family that I thought were jokes. They all knew. And they all participated in the lie. Some have apologized. Said they thought it wasn't their place to tell me, that it was my parents' decision.
Others haven't said anything. Just act like nothing happened. I'm still angry. Angry at my father for dying before I could confront him. Angry at my mother for lying. Angry at my siblings for keeping their distance. Angry at my biological family for not wanting to know me.
Would I have felt differently about my identity? I'll never know, because everyone decided for me. Decided that I didn't deserve the truth. Decided that secrets were easier than honesty. Decided that protecting themselves was more important than my right to know who I was. So here's my question for you. Should adoptive parents tell their children the truth? Should siblings who know secrets reach out anyway? Should families keep life-altering information from their own members? Because I can tell you what it's like to learn the truth at 38. It destroys everything. Every memory gets recontextualized. Every childhood moment gets re-examined. Every relationship gets questioned. I'm rebuilding, slowly, getting to know my half-siblings, learning about my biological mother through old photos and secondhand stories, trying to forgive my adoptive mother. But I'll never get back those 38 years, the years I could have known the truth, the years I could have met my biological mother, the years I could have had relationships with my siblings, all stolen by people who thought they knew better. Leave a comment. Share your thoughts. If you've experienced adoption secrets, family lies, or hidden identities, you're not alone. Thank you for watching. If this story makes you think about the importance of truth in families, share it. Stay honest. Demand transparency. And remember that secrets always come out eventually. Because mine did. At my father's funeral. 38 years too late.